with another book review, and today's review is Ab Cesar's second installment in the Frendo saga, Clown In A Cornfield 2, Frendo Lives. After barely making it out of the Kettle Springs cornfields alive, Quinn's first year away at college should be safe and easy. All she wants is to be normal again. But instead, Quinn finds that her past won't leave her alone when she becomes the focus of online conspiracy theories that claim the Kettle Springs massacre never happened. It's a damaged but relentless fantasy, and there's nothing Quinn can do to get people to hear the truth, not even on her own campus or in her own dorm room. So when a murderous clown attacks Quinn at a frat party while another goes after her father in Kettle Springs at the same time, Quinn realizes that the facts alone are never going to save her. Her only option is to go back into the cornfields, back where the nightmare began, to set the record straight the only way she knows how. But because when the truth gets lost in the lies, that's when people start to die. Which is a fucking bar of a last line. This book is downright insane, and I love it. It departs from the simple, isolated slasher, and instead tells a much broader story with the craziness cranked up to 11. The whole setup this time around is that conspiracy theorists are taking revenge on the three for covering the Baypan massacre up, and believing that they framed Dunn and the others in a really stellar motive, and that is scary and realistic. There's a specific moment in the book where Russ and Jerry, a new character I'll get more into later, are eating tacos where a clown army starts to form on Main Street and getting ready to stampede the establishment, and it is written so well in such an intense way to kick off the second half of this book. I like that Ab Cesar once again doesn't shy away from having dark scenes in a young adult novel, because it genuinely shocked me to read the part where the mob were literally getting ready to execute Rust and Cole, who, by the way, had his arms broken by this point after he got thrown down the stairs by Arthur in an attack. It's a fucked situation overall that only gets worse as the scene went on, and I really love it. Speaking of Rust and Cole, though, I like that the relationship is explored, and there's a lot of cute banter between them in the first half of the book. Even if it meant that Russ would be on the sidelines for most of the book and not really kicking ass like he did in the previous, I still like that he at least had more to offer than to be, as Quinn describes it, her redneck Obi-Wan Kenobi, which is one of the funniest lines I've read in these two books. Speaking of Quinn, though, she easily gets the biggest improvement as a character. I already liked her and related a lot to her in the first book, but here she just becomes a very resourceful badass that doesn't back down despite the odds being very much against her. In the first half, she's mainly hanging out with Rust and Cole, which is completely fine since the first half does a good job being a good catch-up section between the three, but it isn't until the dorm party where I fully become invested with the book in general. Quinn sees a tactical dude with a Frendo mask on come out of the elevator, and she pulls out the baton that gets mentioned a good couple times throughout. And despite the people in the dorm thinking that the conspiracy is true, they don't hesitate to stop the dude in the hallway enough to where Quinn whacks him in the head a good couple times to where he's incapacitated. It's a really well-written scene that not only builds suspense well, but shows that Quinn definitely isn't afraid to get it down and dirty again. This is kind of where the book diverges past for Quinn, Russ, and Cole. Quinn stays at the hospital after Glenn gets brutally attacked by a friendo. Russ and Cole break up, which causes Cole to ride back to Kettle Springs with Hunter and Jerry, and Russ to get to ride with his dad. I actually like that the core three get separated in the middle of half the book. It causes some really good change-ups with the dynamics, and there's solid scenes between Russ, Cole, and the two new characters I've already touched on a little bit previously. There's a total of 11 new characters that are mentioned in this book, but 3 of them are only really prevalent in the first and second half, and that's Sheriff Martin Lee, Jerry Shaw, and Hunter Duvall. Sheriff Lee is the new sheriff in Kettle Springs due to having no connections to Dunn or any of the killers in the previous book, and she genuinely tries to help make the town better with Glenn. And she's not that important of a character, I will say, but she does serve a good purpose as a plot device when she drives Quinn back to Kettle Springs, only to stop when she sees people stuck on the side of the road. Before she can even sense the trap, she's stabbed in the throat several times by Officer Miller, a character that did not make a good first impression in the book when he harasses Jerry at the Eureka. Miller frames Quinn for the murder, and it starts a great subplot where Quinn hunts Miller and his henchmen down, only to get lured towards the haunt and thwarted when Tyler, a worker at the haunt, gets shot in the shoulder accidentally and knocks her out due to thinking she's crazy, and which is a very valid response. Sometime later, Quinn comes to, and she's zip-tied as well as weaponless. She sees Officer Miller talking to Tyler, and she tries to warn him before getting pulled into the field by Miller. After a bit of back and forth banter, Miller hesitates to shoot Quinn, and Tyler makes the save by hitting Miller with a fake chainsaw. Quinn goes full No Country for Old Men and puts her zip-tied hands in front of her and strangles Miller. This is probably the most savage scene in the book. It's such a slow and agonizing death that makes Quinn into a scary-ass individual, especially when she sees that Tyler is shocked by her actions afterwards, which is a really cool way to show a normal outsider's POV of seeing a final girl being downright insane. I also like that after Quinn zip-ties Miller's crony, she gathers the team workers and asks them to help her rebel against the Frendo posse. It's a nice turnaround from when she was eager to stay in the shadows in the first book and not talk to anyone, to now having to speak up and ask for help from a generation that already experienced 25% of their classmates getting brutally murdered. I like that the teams accept and actually help. It really does put into perspective as to how they view the conspiracy versus the older generation and the ones protesting that took it to heart. Moving on, we have Jerry, who is a 14-year-old freshman at Kettle Springs High that was revealed to be one of the few lucky people to escape the barn at the party a year prior. Her first appearance in Chapter 4 is probably one of the saddest character introductions I've read in a book, and does a fantastic job getting you to feel for her throughout. It's revealed that Jerry ran with her sister Dorothy until she got an arrow through the head by a Frendo the Clown and was seemingly spared. It's something that really drives Jerry's character, and she's shown to be a lot more afraid of her surroundings than Quinn, which I think is very refreshing for a female character in this series. She's a good parallel to Quinn, too, who took action and killed the killers that night, whereas Jerry stayed in the cornfield until she was found by cops the next morning. The book also acknowledges this when she's paired with Russ, who tries his damnedest to have her take action in the situation, and while it can come off as annoying sometimes that she doesn't listen the first time that she's told something, it fit really well with her character. I like that there isn't a moment where Russ snaps at her at all. I will say the one downside to her arc in this book is her relationship with Izzy feeling undercooked. Izzy is another new character that is mentioned all throughout the book by Glenn and Jerry, but there's barely a scene of her with either of those characters, and the twist where she was the one that killed Dorothy that night and spared Jerry feels undercooked, mainly because there just isn't enough page time with both of them together. But moving on, we also got Hunter Duvall, a 19-year-old whose family bought the Tillerson B field to make it into a pop-up haunt for Halloween, who seems to have a crush on Cole. I enjoy Hunter a lot more as a red herring than a character. I like his motivations for wanting to own the haunts he does because he pours so much time and effort into them, but his crush on Cole is mainly there for Russ and Cole to have complications with their relationship. The book goes out of its way to set Hunter up as a suspect when Cole is walking through the house and getting seemingly cryptic text from him, only for Cole to go upstairs and see a friendo and to have it revealed in the next chapter that Hunter is indeed innocent. It feels like a waste of a subplot to me, especially since Hunter unceremoniously gets shot accidentally by Russ when he, Jerry, and Hunter's mom, who attacked Russ and Jerry in the truck as a part of the Frendo posse, enter the manor. But I do, however, like the way that Arthur returns in this section. He appears a lot more grimier, smells horrid, and has bad teeth. He has a Jason vibe to him, and I like how he was utilized in the chapter where he was sneaking through the manor. Getting to read his POV was really fun, and it definitely sets it apart from the other chapters as it's more demented. And I love how Hunter is the one to severely injure Arthur when he breaks his jaw with a skillet and loses a couple teeth. Then we face off in the end when Arthur appears at the execution rally, and he tries to reveal himself like a badass, only to blubber his words and spittle blood everywhere as he tries to say his name. It's a very different way as to how Adam wrote his reveal in the first book, and I love it a lot, and the fact that it's topped off with him getting an arrow shot into his throat is the cherry on top of it. Normally, I'd be mad with a villain that would get treated like a joke the whole time, but considering that Arthur was a psychopath in the last book who disowned his son and tried to have him hanged, I don't mind that his decrepit ass wasn't treated like a big deal. And lastly, I fucking love how the book ends. In the epilogue, it's revealed that it's been 2 months since the execution rally was thwarted. Cole and Russ moved out of Kettle Springs. Jerry is helping Glenn out in his last days as mayor, and Quinn is in Maryland. Quinn is in Maryland. She's supporting a new haircut, has managed to track down Trixie, the lead follower that tried to have her and her friends killed. She suddenly drops that she knows who Trixie is, and as she goes to leave, she beats the shit out of her with the baton and leaves into the night. Which, fuck yes. It is basically a rarity nowadays that a horror protagonist ever actually gets down and dirty, so to see Quinn take action and actively hunt down the Frendo posse is really cool, and I'm curious to see how the third book expands upon it. I'm so excited to see where Quinn's story goes from here. She's a lot like Sarah Connor, where she started out as a genuinely normal person, but has since been changed due to the amount of violence she either has seen or has inflicted on others, and it's all because of that damn clown. I'm also curious to see what Cole and Russ get up to. It doesn't seem like they all have much significance in the third book. I hope they aren't just left out entirely since they are a part of the three, but I guess I'll have to read it to find out. But for right now, I'm going to give Clown in A Cornfield 2 Frendo Lives a solid 9 out of 10. It's a bit slow in the beginning, but it has a lot of insane moments in the second half, and the entire last chapter is a big and bombastic conclusion I love very much. So that's it. Let me know what your thoughts are on Frendo Lives in the comments below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Is it just alright? Or are you somewhere down the middle? And remember, if you see a clown cult trying to kill you, flamethrowers are necessary in that situation. Goodbye.